Hey, Martin Miles is here, and you probably have heard about recent release of Headless SDK for Next.js version 21.1.5, which has some amazing features. So today I would like to demonstrate you those, and the bigger purpose of this video is to explain how one can create a containerized headless SXA starter kit to have all the things together. So here we go. The best place to start would be, of course, official documentation, and Sitecore has released a nice walkthrough for creating an Next.js application with JSS initializer. Make sure I select the appropriate version. So that is working with npx command. If you do not specify the version here, it will pick up the latest, and that's what we want. It comes with a very helpful wizard allowing you to select exactly what you want. Their options are Angular, Vue, React, React Native, Next.js. That's actually what we want to do. We want it to default folder with the same name and the same host name. Fetching mechanism would be GraphQL, and that would be for SSG. So finally, this one is the most interesting prompt. It allows you to multiple select different features, which are quite interesting. The first is pretty familiar to everyone, which includes disconnected components. The next one comes with tracking examples for Sitecore XP. So if you're using XP with headless and you want to leverage its tracking into XDB, that's the example, the one you're going to use. The third one brings components for Headless SXA project. Another one interesting example is for XM Cloud, which leverage embedded personalization. You may have heard that XM Cloud is coming with built-in personalization rules, mostly for in-session personalization. So this example is helpful if you are going XM Cloud. And the last one is an example for hosting multiple sites within a single Next.js application. So let's go. Any additional languages, doesn't matter. And npm install will do the rest of the job. If you try to run this code base, you probably won't be able to do that because it does not have a connection to Sitecore. There is no any references to it, and there is no container-based images. So that is scaffolded code comes just on its own. Of course, if you want to run it in disconnected mode, you will be able to do that. This particular example will not run because I referenced dictionary services, but in other case, it will run as normal. What we are going to do in this case, we will be scaffolding another starter kit which comes with containers. The best thing to reference is, again, documentation. So you may find another walkthrough how to set up development environment with the Sitecore containers template for Next.js. Again, make sure you select the right version. And to make this happen, first I need to reference the Vex templates. And then I want to instantiate a new getting started template. Let's call it StarterKit. So we will be using GraphQL to fetch layout, SSG as well. And now npm install does the rest of work. Done. Let's take a look at what we scaffolded here. We go into the folder, open it in the Visual Studio Code. So now we clearly see up and down scripts, init script, so everything you would expect to have in your Docker container. Let's set it up for XM Cloud topology. I'm using init script with my license with admin password, and I'm passing topology as XM1. Alright, we're there. Let's add front-end certificate as well. Alright, now we're ready to run it. As normally we run containers by executing up PS1, but the trick with this container setup is that it doesn't have SXA headless in it. It spins up latest Sitecore 10.3. It also sets up rendering host with JSS, but it's not powered by SXA, and there is also no PowerShell extension. So let's go and fix that. What we need to do here is to add these two packages, PowerShell extension and SXA. Well, first of all, let's go into our environment. I will be modifying it for XM1 topology, but you can repeat the same for the rest of topologies. Let's add two environmental variables at the bottom. It will feature image for PowerShell extension and for SXA. Alright, next let's open override file for Docker Compose. We will do the necessary changes. In order to make it happen, we need to modify 4 bits. We need to introduce changes into SQL Server init container, into Solar init container, and we also need to modify content management and content delivery Docker files. Let's start with SQL Server init. So we reference the image here. Let's do the same for Solar init with SXA image. Down below we have content delivery and content management. For content management, we also need to reference PowerShell extension. Alright, so now let's go and modify the actual Docker files. Let's start with SQL init. So let's receive the argument. And let's copy and init Headless Services module here. Next, we do similar for Solar init. Let's copy Solar course for SXA here. Next, content delivery. And content management. Remember, for content management, we use both of these images. Okay, looks valid. So, right. Let's save the changes and spin up containers. Now I'm ready to run up PS1 script, which will build images, run containers. So we'll see where it takes me to. In order to save some time, I already built the containers in the background, so everything you see is basically the same, but it will not take you to wait extra 5 minutes. So now, after it all went well, let's log into Sitecore with our password. And wait till the script completes with index populating and rebuilding. Then we will be able to get into Sitecore and test our changes. We have our rendering host loaded along with Sitecore CM. Let's go to desktop and let's test if we have SXA. So once you see headless tenant, that clearly prompts you that SXA is there. So you see scaffolding scripts running. You set up headless tenant with all the desired features. And then we can set up headless site. We can also move existing GSS site into the tenant and do all other bits. But the biggest part of it is that the StarterKit files are all in the place and Docker instructions work perfectly well. And here we are. Finally, let's open these two StarterKits we generated, the one with npx left hand side and the other we generated with devx templates on the right hand side. Let's compare them. So this is the one that has container instructions, that has init up scripts, that has Docker, that has Docker Compose and environments. And it also has rendering host underneath author.c folder. So basically that rendering folder, it corresponds to the file structure of what we scaffolded first. But remember that the first has more advanced features. So if you compare components folder, There will be definitely much more here which you will want to cherry pick and move to your starter kit. It all depends by the features you want to use, but the idea is that you can create your own starter kit, and this is how you can scaffold and configure it. So thanks for watching.